Tiny Beatles in My Head by Gary Ives, read by Gary Ives. Andrew Shellcross came back from the war a broken man. 3 years of starvation and brutality as a prisoner of war working in Japanese coal mines had squeezed and reduced him to little more than a pitiful 6-stone entity that thought of little other than food and sleep. Returning to Moss Castle village, he was met not by his wife, but by the vicar, who informed him of the sad news that his wife Angel had died 1 month earlier from burns she had suffered in the bombing of Coventry, and that their baby daughter, Claire, was in the care of her Aunt Bess in Sheffield. That was long ago, and then Andrew wanted only solitude. He took the job as ferryman on the boat servicing Little St. Noet Isle twice daily and the lighthouse on Moss Castle Shoal once weekly. Keeping to himself, speaking to others only minimally, he preferred the margins and shadows of Moss Castle. Villagers regarded Andrew as an odd duck, but knowing of his misfortunes, empathized. Later, when old Mr. Quarles died, he applied for the lighthouse keeper position, and subsequently in 1947 moved there, achieving his lasting desire for solitude. Only then did his psyche begin to repair, as he found satisfaction in the perfection of the lighthouse. Such a simple, strong, and reliable structure. Occupying his time maintaining the lighthouse, tending his garden, and fishing, he found the quietude soothing. The crackle of the wireless's weather reports and notice to mariners' bulletins, the clanging of the buoys of the foghorn seemed as natural to him as the squawking seagulls in terns. Twice a month he boarded his old ferry for supply runs to the village and a pint or two at the pub with the vicar. Sister-in-law Bess had written Andrew maintaining that the best place for his daughter Claire was with her, and if it did not agree with that, suggesting that she and her husband might take legal action. And wasn't her husband and she better equipped to raise the child, what with her mister on the council? Andrew, having never seen his daughter, felt no filial obligation. Bess was probably right, even if she was a high-minded scold, the sort which he had little use for, mind you. So, daughter Claire was a vague presence, rather like a distant sound in the fog. Not until 1958 was Bess again heard from, this time writing Andrew to disavow any responsibility for Claire, now 17 years old, who, despite proper upbringing in a good, clean, Christian home, hadn't she taken upon herself to run off to Southampton with a coal-black African? Was she to appear on the stoop some day, the door would certainly be slammed. Yes, it would. And don't bother yourself to reply. Thus, years later, when Claire stepped off the ferry with baby granddaughter Lisa wrapped in her arms, was the solitude shattered. Realization and acceptance of his responsibility, however, descended quickly but gently. "Come in, my dears, come in. Let your old dad have a look. Oh, my. You favor your mum, you do. Come in. We'll put the kettle on." Signing on with a Greek tanker that departed Southampton on Christmas morning, Claire's man, a Senegalese sailor, had abandoned her and the baby. Although she showed little affection for her father, calling him Shelley rather than Dad, she was helpful at the lighthouse, cooking, cleaning, and making the village runs for supplies. Baby Lisa, however, gravitated to her grandfather, and he to her with true affection. Joy that had been forgotten long ago, sunken into the slurry pits in Honshu with the bodies of his mates, now faintly began to materialize with the tiny glimmer from little Lisa's smiles and clasping of his fingers with her miniature hands. Windows that had been shut for nearly 50 years opened. But deep within Andrew Shellcross, the longing for solitude eased. He reckoned the trade-off of solitude for love well worth the interruption. One day, while cleaning one of the Frenzel lenses, Lisa's mother Claire fell from the lighthouse catwalk, suffering a terrible head injury. In hospital, Claire experienced bizarre hallucinations. Doctors advised that these episodes would diminish gradually, occurring further apart, eventually to fade away completely. But they didn't. Convalescing at home, the hallucinations worsened, often inducing panic. She perceived ships running aground upon the Moss Castle shoal, then corpses of drowned sailors washing ashore on the lighthouse grounds. "I can see 'em, Shelley, plain as day, floundering out there in the icy water, calling to me, 'Help me, miss. Please help a mother's son. Please, miss, I can't make it. You gotta help me. Come on, give us your hand, miss, please, for God's sake.' But I can't bring the poor blighter, Shelley. I can't bring him in. I can't do nothing. It's like I'm frozen in place, paralyzed, watching the poor lads go under." Mr. Shellcross attempted to comfort his daughter, Claire. "Just your bad old dreams, Claire. Your nightmares is what they are. Don't let them upset you, dear. Believe your old dad, haven't I had me share of wretched dreams? But you know what? Come morning they vanish like the dew if you just let them." Andrew Shellcross reckoned Claire's dreams the product of local history. And didn't all the old ones in the village know the story? It was December 1849 when the collier J. Lennon, with a crew of 12, had run aground on Moss Castle Shoal, with the loss of all hands. But this he kept to himself. "Oh, it's easy for you to say that these is only dreams, Shelley, but they ain't dreams. They're too real. It's like some bad fairy has come and transported me to this horrible disaster. These here, they're visions, they are. And they're real, damn it. No, I'll have none of your dreaming. It's real. It's driving me crazy, Shelley. Crazy, I tell you." In the end, the dreams did drive poor Claire crazy. Late one winter night, she took a tragic walk into the deep, dark, cold Atlantic. As solitude had been Andrew's friend for the past years, now his old enemy, tragedy, had reappeared and would remain. Not long after her mother's death, Lisa lost her sight, when she and her friend Ben, digging for clams, had uncovered a dud 40mm anti-aircraft projectile from World War II. While Ben went for an adult, the ordnance exploded, blinding the 12-year-old girl, leaving her with half a scalp and a face terribly marred. Thereafter, because of the facial scarring, she did not attend school. Her grandfather knew that the company of children was fraught with the potential for cruelty. So, with the help of the vicar, Mr. Shellcross homeschooled Lisa. He reckoned that even if they had lived in the village, Lisa's pitiful visage would condemn her to a lonely existence. Could she find refuge in solitude as he had done? A woman from social services had tried to convince Mr. Shellcross to enroll Lisa in a school for blind children in London, but neither he nor Lisa would have any of it. Like her grandfather, she had come to prefer the isolation of the lighthouse. She don't need none of that, miss. Out here, Lisa's got her old granddad. There's her radio, her music, and the blind services braille packages every month, and them audio books. What all? I'll venture you find her quite happy and content, I will." "But won't you agree, Mr. Shellcross, Lisa would certainly benefit from the company of other children her own age?" "No, miss. See here, she's half bald, with her poor face all chewed up like so. And was that not enough, her dad, he's a black, and a scrub, which, when Lisa's mum was took sick of the croup, Didn't he cast off the two of 'em? Dumped them, he did, and disappeared, the rogue. Mashed up face with a runaway black man for a da. No, miss, I know what kids is like. Thank you all the same. Please consider it, Mr. Shellcross. Every child needs friends. And friends she's got. I'm a friend, ain't I? Little Ben, he's her friend, same age, and don't he come around at least a couple times a week with his guitar? There's the vicar, too, with the lessons. Quite enough for our Lisa is Ben and the vicar and myself. Lisa was 15 when the strong visuals began. The images appeared in her head only when she was in her room on the second level of the lighthouse. Tiny Beatles, John, Paul, George, and Ringo, appeared on her counterpane and sang to her. Most delightful was John Lennon's quirky way of personalizing each song. Oi now, here's the thing we said today. Just for you, Lisa. Each of the Beatles smiled, but only John spoke, and he spoke directly to her in that slow, friendly Scouser speak. Now, did you like that song, love, did you? He spoke directly to her, and she knew it. Oh, but she loved the private performances of her very own tiny Beatles, who came to her bed and sang just to her. Then, as they sang the last song, Always Help, the tiny Beatles dissolved, smiling into the ether. So stimulating were the visions she usually recounted each Beatles visit to her granddad over her tea and boiled egg at breakfast. However, she admitted telling of John speaking directly to her. They're dreams, pet. Just your vivid dreams, no more. You always say that. No, it's too real, Grandad. I can see, actually see. It's like a fairy has sprinkled something in my eyes and let me see just for a bit. It's too real to be dreams. No, Grandad, it's no dreaming. It's really seeing and hearing. I know you don't think so, but it's real. Lisa's accounts troubled Mr. Shellcross, though he hid his concern. There was the tragedy of her mother's death and the history. This prompted him to talk with the vicar, who advised him to seek professional help. The similarities between Claire's and Lisa's reactions to their dreams had prompted Andrew to make an appointment with the child psychologist in St. Ives. Andrew Shellcross clutched his granddaughter's hand as Dr. Mendelsohn explained the test results. First of all, Lisa, Mr. Shellcross, this is nothing to cause any real concern. These are clearly no tumors or lesions. Everything looks absolutely normal. The hallucinations you've had, Lisa, are a phenomena peculiar to the blind, who were once sighted. And while not common, they're not rare either. It's called CBS, Charles Bonnet syndrome. It's similar to the phantom pain that many amputees feel. The blind experiencing CBS frequently report seeing people or animals, often with accompanying auditory hallucinations. And what confirms this diagnosis for me is that Lisa's people are tiny. Tiny people now, that's common in CBS. So, Lisa's accounts fall right into place. She's seen the Beatles, tiny Beatles, singing on her pillow. Really, there's nothing here to be concerned about. I get the impression that Lisa has actually enjoyed these episodes. No, maybe enjoyed's not the right word. Appreciated, that's it. Seems to me she's appreciated seeing the Beatles' Pillowcase performances. So, unless there are signs of discomfort or obsession, I wouldn't worry. Lisa's a bright, healthy, and may I say a most perceptive young lady. The doctor's mellow, convincing voice eased Shellcross's mind, and the relief made the taxi ride from the pediatric psychologist's clinic pleasant. Lisa, we'll stop at the Chippy. We've got an hour before the ferry. It's all right, driver, ain't it? If we take our chips here in the car, driver, and your chips are on me, mate. Yes, Granddad, please. Tell me, what does Dr. Mendelsohn look like? Is he fat? Yes, he's quite fat. and with a jolly red face, rather like Father Christmas. Hair was once red, as best I could tell, what with little there is left of it. Ha! His eyes even twinkle. His hands are long and sensitive. Tell me your impression, dear. Fat, but not ashamed of being fat like some. I liked his voice, and I like it that he doesn't wear cologne like Dr. Osborne. I like the way he talked to me as if I was a grown-up. Yeah, Granddad, he's okay. Any trip away from the lighthouse was stressful for the girl. Though blind, she easily sensed being stared at, and she loathed being an object of pity or curiosity or scorn. But she'd done well on the trip to St. Ives. Dr. Mendelssohn's patter, she knew, had eased her granddad's mind, and how the two loved their fish and chips. She would have fun relating the events to her friend Ben the next day. Months after the visit to Dr. Mendelssohn, the tiny Beatles appeared late one December night. They sang for her, "Listen, do you want to know a secret?" Then, just after singing "Help" and before completely dissolving, John stepped forward, obviously troubled, shouting with alarm something indistinguishable. Only the word revolver was clear. 2 days later, John Lennon lay dead on a New York street, shot by a revolver in the hands of a crazed fan. Lisa shared the account of the prophetic dream only with Ben. She and Ben were fast friends, but had drawn even closer after the blast. Inwardly, he carried guilt for having left her alone on the beach with the unexploded shell while he ran for help. But he was a fast runner, and Lisa had asked him to go for help. His father ran the ferry once piloted by her granddad, and twice a week Ben sailed or rowed his little skiff across the Sound to visit and play guitar with Lisa. "It's terrible, it is, Lisa, just from the way you're speaking. I believe you, and you're right. If you tell your granddad, or anyone else for that matter, they ain't gonna believe you. But I do. It's spooky, ain't it? Poor John Lennon, his very spirit coming to you the night before all this. What's it mean, huh?" "I don't know, Ben. Wasn't any way for me to know, was there? I mean, alls I could understand John saying was revolver. But there was panic there, too, in his face. It was panic, Ben. John was trying to tell me that this terrible thing was coming. I know he was. That doctor up in St. Ives said these here dreams with tiny folk was something that just happened to the blind, but he didn't say nothing about predictions and such. You're the only person I can tell. Granddad, and I reckon anybody else, would count me daft, don't you think? It's like some show on the telly. Weird is what it is. Don't you worry, Lisa. I won't say nothing to nobody. Will you tell me if you have any more of these visions?" "I will, sure. Get out your guitar. Let's quit this spooky stuff, eh?" Just weeks later, the tiny Beatles made their final appearance. John, Paul, George, and Ringo sang only one song, "Here Comes the Sun," then dissolved never to reappear. The next morning, Lisa screamed with joy as she really saw, the light of the sun through the lighthouse window. "Granddad, I can see! I see sunshine! I can see birds! I can see you! Oh, Granddad, I can see again! I can see!" Lisa's sight had, indeed, returned, restoring joy to the lighthouse at Moss Castle Shoal. Her friend Ben would grow up to attend seminary, to eventually replace the old vicar when he retired. When her old grandfather applied for retirement, Lisa was appointed lighthouse keeper. Their days were quiet and contented. Eventually, solitude comes to us all, some earlier, some later. Little darlin', it's been a long, cold, lonely winter. Little darlin', it feels like years since it's been here. Here comes the sun. Here comes the sun, and I say, all right. The words and the music to "Here Comes the Sun" by George Harrison.